Pretty Guardian Sailor Moon Cosmos the movie adapts the final arc of the Sailor Moon manga and also has parallels with the final season of the original Sailor Moon anime, in which Sailor Galexia needs the star seeds of the Sailor Guardians, and so she comes on down to the solar system and just stacks bodies. Like, they have killed people in previous Sailor Moon seasons, but holy shit, the death toll in this movie, the two movies, I guess, was ridiculous. They introduced new characters just to fucking kill them. Now, that didn't really surprise me on account of the fact that I have seen the original Sailor Stars, so I assumed everyone was going to die because I assumed it was going to basically follow that exact path. But it is an immediate escalation. Like, Mamoru dies in, like, the first 2 minutes of it. It's just, like, him kissing Usagi in the airport, and then Galexia puts a fucking fist through his chest. It is crazy how quickly it escalates. And I will have to say that the first movie, the part 1 of this, does a great job of building up Galexia as a threat, and it really creates this, like, huge amount of tension. Because the movie starts with the death of Mamoru. So you have Usagi immediately having a mental breakdown, and she just, like, her brain rejects the event, and she refuses to acknowledge what's happening around her. Even after more of the Sailor Guardians die, she, like, refuses to face reality till towards the end of the movie. And I don't know what it is, but I always appreciate when they show magical girls having mental breakdowns, which is surprisingly common. I don't know why it's a trope of the genre, but it's been a trope of the genre for at least 50 years. Regardless, the amount of tension they are able to generate in the opening part of this as Galexia just goes systematically killing every single member of the cast is fucking crazy. They didn't even spare the cats. She is on a fucking rampage. More than Galexia going on a fucking tear and murdering everyone, though. There are other things noteworthy. For example, the first movie actually has an anime opening, and I was fucking floored when it was Moonlit Densetsu. Like, that song has not played in the opening of Sailor Moon for 30 fucking years. Holy shit, the emotional wave of nostalgia when that fucking opening played. And then I believe, and I could be wrong about this, but I believe the opening for the second movie was the opening for the original 1990s Sailor Moon Stars. So that was an interesting throwback as well. I appreciate that, but it just does not hit as hard as Moonlight Densetsu, which is arguably the most iconic anime opening of all time. And if it's not the most, it's top 5 easy. Other impactful things that happen in just the first movie is the revelation. Because we know Neo Queen Serenity is fucking strong, but apparently, at some point, I think it was during her coronation, I forget what they said it was, she was so strong that she broadcast her power throughout the entire universe and all of time. And first off, that is the stupidest fucking thing anyone could possibly do. And theoretically, this moment is probably what causes all of Sailor Moon's problems throughout the entire series. But it's also why I think I want a Neo Queen Serenity slice of life comedy series, because I want to see what's life's like in 1,000 years in the future as the Sailor Guardians have to fucking wrangle their god queen from doing random stupid bullshit that's going to get everyone in trouble constantly. And she doesn't stop doing it. We know this because we know how the Death Phantom situation turned out. She just keeps doing this. Anyway, I have to say that is one of the craziest fucking things I've heard of an anime character doing, though. Like, you hear about people, like, fucking shaking universes and destroying universes. Fuck, Sailor Moon's destroyed a universe before. But I have never heard of a character that was so powerful. Their power was capable of being felt throughout every single moment of time. There are characters... We find this out from someone who rolls up to Sailor Moon and is like, oh, you're the future Neo Queen Serenity. And Sailor Moon's like, how the fuck do you know that? And she's like, I can sense you. Everyone can sense you. You're so strong. that we can sense you across all of time. And Neo Queen Serenity lives like 1,000 years in the future. And theoretically, this woman knows the associations of the prior Silver Millennium, which were around 1,000 years before that. So at least, bare minimum, Neo Queen Serenity has broadcast her power 2,000 years in the past for no fucking reason. And because we know that in the second movie, it's revealed that all of the dark stars that have been attacking Earth are specifically caused and drawn there by the light of the silver crystal, it can be inferred that this singular action kickstarts literally the plot of the entire series. It is such a stupid decision. Like, here's the deal. Is Neo Queen Serenity the most powerful living entity at the time she did that? Arguably. Maybe second place after Chaos. But here's the thing. Was she always the strongest living entity in the entire universe? Clearly fucking no. What an incredibly terrible idea to pick a fight with people before you were even born. Anyway, regardless of that, we also get to see an even stronger version of Sailor Moon with fucking Sailor Cosmos just showing up. She's awesome. She's got a good design. She doesn't do a lot in it, but I like that she's just like depressed. Like I said, watching magical girls have mental breakdowns is sort of a trope of the genre, and I think no one really epitomizes it more than her, or arguably Homura, but that's a completely different anime. Regardless, there is some great moments in the second movie as well, although I did find it a little bit weaker than the first one, but I do appreciate that Sailor Moon usually is pretty reluctant to fight, not necessarily in Crystal. She's a little more gung-ho because Crystal tries to get its plot lines on quicker, but she was basically just like, I'm gonna fucking kill her. Like, I don't remember who it was she said that. I think it was when she was holding the ashes of Sailor Saturn. She was like, I'm gonna fucking kill her. And so they just go there to fucking kill her, and it is a fucking trip. There's like this cool moment where they meet Leaf, which is clearly named after a river in Greek mythology, and she tries to make Sailor Moon forget, and then she doesn't, and then at some point Sailor Moon has to fight all of the Sailor Guardians, and then she fucking kills all of the Sailor Guardians. Like, they got resurrected under Galexia's control, and then Sailor Moon has to kill them. It's all honestly a pretty impactful and deep moment. The one thing I will say that I do wish was better was I do wish there was more to the fight between Sailor Moon and Galexia. It was almost over a little bit too briefly. I got that the movie was trying to get itself on with and get to the chaos stuff at the end, but we needed a fucking battle again, more a battle with Sailor Moon versus Galexia. I think that was a little subpar in that. And honestly, I thought the ending was actually fairly weak up until the point where Sailor Moon jumps into the galaxy cauldron. And I was like, well, I guess that's just kind of it. And it's felt very anticlimactic, despite the fact that Cosmos has decided that she's going to renew her fight against chaos in the future. And then she just like brings everyone back to life. But I will say that I think all of it is made up for at the ending when we see the epilogue at the end of the credits where Usagi and Mamoru get married, and then we get to see all of the Sailor Guardians in their bridesmaids' dresses. That was such an impactful and heartfelt moment. I'm straight up not gonna lie. I shed a tear, all right? I did. I'm willing to admit it. It was such a good fucking moment. And it also ends with a thank you note from the mangaka, which is really fucking powerful. So yeah, I will say there are some weaknesses to the movie, especially the second one. I thought the second one was definitely weaker, but I will also say that as far as like an ending to Sailor Moon, it's definitely better than the 90s one. And that fucking ending scene, that epilogue was powerful. Twitch and Discord in the description. I've been Sacrobolic. You're Envoy of Hope. Bye-bye.